So it seems like that battle is going to use comic book Miles Morales against Deku, which is what I kind of feared. In my prediction video, I predicted that Deku would definitely win because I thought there's no way they're gonna use the comics version, right? They're just gonna use the one from Spider-Verse or the games. And while I do think they're probably going to use feats from those, and even only show like less impressive stuff from the comics, to me it's insane that they even involve the comics, because we all know how Marvel and DC comics work, right? Like Miles has at one point fought somebody on the level of a Hell Lord. If not, he was a Hell Lord himself. I forgot actually. But a Hell Lord in Marvel is someone at the level of like Mephisto, Ghost Rider, Hela, and you can go up to like Dormammu and Galactus if you're really stretching it, if you're really stretching it, you can go up to that level. And obviously those are characters that at the very least can destroy planets, if not a whole universe. I mean, keep in mind, who was it? Was it Mephisto and Galactus? Or was it Mephisto and Dormammu? Or was it Dormammu and Galactus? It was one of those characters who are fighting and destroying like the universe, or even multiple universes and stuff. It was insane. Marvel is just weird like that. I mean, there's this one moment where Miles survives and even wakes up from like a blast that's like Hulk level, or in that area, Hulk, Thor, Hulkbuster kind of thing. Even though Hulkbusters are never beating Hulk, almost. None of the things that are called busters are actually busting the things they're supposed to bust. If you create a thing that's called the Thor Buster or the, I don't know, Square Girl Buster, you know for a fact that it's going to lose with the thing it's made to fight. It's just a rule in Marvel, or at least most of the time when I see or encounter those things, they always lose. And I mean, there's even some more new BS. Basically, I think this is a new comic because, listen, I don't read Miles comics. It's not my type. It's not the type of comic I would read. And before you ask, yes, it is because he's black, and yeah, I am racist. No, it's just I don't really read. I don't even read any Spider-Man really. I have a volume of like a bunch of old Spider-Man issues, but I just have it because I think it was cool to own. But otherwise, I don't really read Spider-Man or a lot of Marvel in general outside of stuff like Gods, for example. Speaking of gods, so basically there's this god in Marvel, and I don't know how to explain this. Essentially, Miles has plot armor, like in the story, like in comics, like not plot armor as in I'm calling it plot armor, but as in like that's kind of his superpower. There is this god who is relatively strong, I would say, who just doesn't let him lose or die, basically. At the very least, this god is comparable to like characters like Thor and Odin and Hercules or Zeus or whatever. Those level of characters, he's up there, in the Sky Father slash God level. Not quite cosmic, or at least at the very least, is that strong. And basically, that's all Miles needs, because I mean, this is why people don't read those comics. Isn't that like kind of terrible? That's like terrible writing. Whatever. To be fair, I don't even read it. Maybe it's an execution. It's good. So I'm not gonna stay here judge it completely, saying it's bad when I didn't read it. But it sounds very bad. But anyway, so on the other side, Deku is actually kind of more powerful than people give him credit. I feel like right off the bat, I'm pretty sure my hero is Lightspeed, and people are debating that. Like, I remember a few years ago, for sure, people were debating it because I was making videos involving my hero characters, and I was saying, hey, those characters are lightspeed, and everyone was disagreeing. And maybe people still do, but I mean, people just dodge lightning and then lasers in the show, so I guess if you don't want to believe it, that's fine. I mean, the only thing that kind of goes against it is that there's one character that uses guns, and it's like the guns are like supposed to be impressive in the show, so it's very inconsistent. You could argue the guns are faster, like the bullets are faster than normal, or you could argue the lights and the lightning are slower. I mean, it's up to you, I guess. And then in terms of power, I think it's funny that Deku has as his biggest feat something that was also All Might's biggest feat for a long time. So back in like season 1 of My Hero, one of the best calculations slash power scaling measurements for All Might was that in one punch he literally dispersed a whole storm. Like a whole area had no more clouds, which is way more impressive than you think, because the air pressure necessary to move clouds is actually insane. Like, think about it. What else do you know that could do that outside of nuclear bombs? Basically nothing, right? Which is fitting because that punch, I think, alone was the equivalent of like a nuclear bomb, I think, when people started calculating it. And now the strongest feat of Deku, I think, is him or his punch dispersing clouds, but on a larger scale. So Deku punched the sky. I mean, that's not what he did, but like that's basically the what is important here. He punched so hard that the clouds dispersed to the point where I think it was in America, right? I think it's in America, where it was supposed to be a week of like storms and clouds and all that shit in the United States, basically. And this guy punches so hard that the shockwave disperses the clouds in his area, right? Like where he's fighting, but also goes over United States, and like the sky is completely clear from it, which is insane. I mean, again, think of something that could do that in the real world, and you can't find it outside of like a dinosaur destroying asteroid or something. So that one actually was calculated at the level of being like multi-continental. Now, we could debate if it's consistent or not, but at the end of the day, here's how it works. If you take Miles Morales at his average, the way he's depicted, as in, a street level character or kind of above a street level character, dealing with mid to low level threats, you could say he's maybe like able to destroy a building or able to destroy a city at most. But if you take him at his interpretation, like a literal power scaling nerd emoji kind of interpretation, then you could say he's like a planet level or universe level character. As insane and stupid that might sound, comics are just stupid like that. I think with Deku, it's easy to say, hey, look, All Might did this thing and dispersed these clouds, and that's like very powerful. That's like a nuclear level attack. That's like a island or mountain destroying attack. And look at Deku. He was able to do something like that, but on a larger scale, to the point that it covered all of America or even North America as a whole. So you could say that that power is the equivalent of destroying like a continent or something, or maybe multiple continents. So at the end of the day, it's really up to you the way you interpret these things. If you think that Deku dispersing clouds on a continental scale doesn't really mean he is continental, because at the end of the day, it's air as opposed to land, that's fair. but I would still say it's at least like a country level attack at the very least. Whereas with Miles, it's one of two ways. Either you believe him to be like an above street tier level character who can hold collapsing buildings or maybe survive the explosion of a city or something. In which case, Deku from like season 3 or something could probably beat him. Or you could say he's a freaking god, or at least he has the plot armor of a god that's on the level of planet and universe level characters, and he could never lose against Deku because that specific fucking god doesn't let him lose. And also, he has some weird cracked feats against like very strong opponents. Really, it's up to you what you believe.